They called it the Great Depression, but for some, it was the Great Awakening. Imagine it. New York City, 1931. Dust hangs heavy in the air. Job lines wrap around city blocks. The jazz clubs echo a sorrowful tune. America is gasping for breath, its lungs full of fear, its heartbeat slowed by scarcity. But inside one small lecture hall, something entirely different is happening. A broke, barefoot dancer, his soul bruised by rejection and his wallet empty, steps quietly into a room. His name is Neville Goddard. He has no idea that within moments, everything about his life is going to change. Not with money, not with luck, but with a sentence from a stranger that will shatter the rules of reality. "You're 6 months late," the man says. Neville blinks, confused. "I beg your pardon?" The stranger doesn't flinch. "The brothers told me you would come. You're late, but right on time." That man was Abdullah, a black Jewish Ethiopian rabbi, a man who, without ceremony, without apology, would become one of the most important spiritual teachers of the 20th century. Not because he wrote books, but because he knew something no one else dared to believe, that reality bends to the imagination of the disciplined soul. And that day he began to teach Neville the forbidden. Not forbidden because it was evil, but because it was too powerful, too simple, too direct. It bypassed priests, bypassed logic, bypassed the institutions that feed off your fear. It was a technique so daring, so clean, so surgical in its magic, that it could pull money from the unseen into your palm with one act, one decision. And it starts with a door, not a metaphor, a real, physical door. Abdullah told Neville, "Close the door and do not open it again." It wasn't a poetic suggestion, it was instruction, command, a mystical technology of the mind embedded in the physical to collapse the gap between desire and reality. But let's back up. For 5 years, Neville followed this man, learned Hebrew under candlelight, studied the Kabbalah until dawn. But no lesson would be more profound than this. When you decide something is yours, you must slam the door shut on any suggestion otherwise. Neville would come to him and say, "I want to go to Barbados." And Abdullah wouldn't blink. He would say, "You already did." Neville would protest, "But I have no money." Slam. Abdullah would walk away, shut the door of his study behind him, loud, final, done. No debate, no room for negotiation, because the conversation was over. In his mind, Neville had already gone. The moment Neville desired it, it was real in the invisible. The rest was just divine choreography. This was not kindness, this was precision, because Abdullah understood a brutal truth. Every second you talk about the how, every time you peek behind the curtain of your own miracle, you unplug it from the socket of faith. The power dies when you try to prove it. Now fast forward to December 1933. Neville is broke. Again. The world is collapsing outside. Bread lines are growing, faith is shrinking. But inside his mind, Barbados. He tells Abdullah he wants to go home. Abdullah snaps, "You're already in Barbados, stop talking like you're not." And for weeks, Neville walks the streets of New York, feeling the humid breeze of the tropics in his imagination. He hears the sea, he smells the salt, he boards an imaginary ship every night before bed. And every time doubt creeps in, slam. Not metaphorically, he slams the door of his apartment. Boom! On the outside world, on logic, on doubt, until one day a letter arrives. His brother Cecil, a $50 check, a ticket. He arrives at the port with a third-class ticket, ready to sail home. But at the gate, the agent says something strange. We've had a cancellation. You've been upgraded. To what? First class. Exactly what Abdullah said. Exactly what Neville declared. And that, my friend, is the secret. Not visualization alone, not feeling alone, but the combination of 3 forbidden steps that break open the gates of wealth, opportunity, and freedom. Step 1. Absolute declaration. You do not wish for money. You do not try to manifest money. You declare, with no hesitance, that it is already yours. You say, I have $10,000 in my bank account. You say, I am employed at the perfect job. You say, I have more than enough. And you say it like you say, my name is Sarah, or I am breathing. There is no gap, no question mark. Abdullah used to say, you're either pregnant or you're not. There is no kinda. Either you have the thing in your world, your imagination, or you don't. And if you don't, nothing will help you. Not prayer, not begging, not effort. Step 2, the door slam. You walk to a real door. Your bedroom, your office, your kitchen. You speak your desire aloud as a fact. Then you slam that door. Not angrily, decisively. You close it as if God Himself said, it is done. You are anchoring the physical to the metaphysical. You are telling your subconscious, this reality is closed, that reality is open. This act, neuroscientists now confirm, creates a kinesthetic anchor, a physical movement that tells your brain, no more debate. The matter is settled, the page is turned. Step 3, the vow of silence. Here's where 99% of people destroy their own miracles. They close the door, then reopen it to check if anything's happening. They ask, where's the money? They look for signs. They worry. They peek. Every peek is poison. You must vow to discuss the topic with no one. Not your friends, not your spouse, not even yourself. You must refuse to run mental diagnostics on your miracle. Why? Because the moment you analyze, you announce to the universe, I don't believe it's really mine yet. Abdullah never explained. He just was. He just knew. He never discussed methods. He never made diagrams. He demonstrated. He lived it. And through that certainty, he passed on the frequency of the kingdom. He knew the laws of the invisible. Whatever you believe to be true completely, without apology, will crystallize into your world. And you know what? Modern physics agrees. In quantum theory, there's a principle known as the observer effect. Reality shifts according to your perception of it. Not metaphorically, literally. Particles behave differently when you observe them. They collapse into form. The unseen becomes seen, but only if you're watching with certainty. That's the doorway. That's the slam. That's the forbidden act. When you declare something so real that the universe has no option but to obey. And here's the secret no one tells you. It's not about magic. It's about finality. It's about living in the end so fully that there is no room for a middle. Neville didn't become a millionaire because he was lucky. He didn't rise to become one of the greatest teachers of imagination because he was born special. He did it because he finally understood what Abdullah was trying to show him. You don't get what you want, you get what you assume. So now, I ask you, what are you assuming? Are you assuming lack, struggle, delay, or are you assuming that what you want is already done, sealed, delivered? Let me be direct. If you keep checking your bank balance, if you keep worrying about the timeline, if you keep asking for confirmation, you're not assuming, you're begging, you're doubting, you're leaking power with every glance backward. Abdullah didn't slam the door for drama, he slammed it to seal the state. That's what you must do now. Not just once, not as a ritual, but as a new standard of being. Because here's the raw truth. If you don't slam the door on your old life, your old thinking, your old doubts, then life will keep dragging you back into that room of limitation. It's not about effort, it's not about working harder, it's not about waiting for perfect alignment. It's about shutting the door and locking it behind you. Not with a key, but with faith. And what is faith? Faith is not hope. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Faith is knowing the package has already shipped, even if tracking hasn't updated. When Neville stopped asking how, when he stopped talking about wanting to go to Barbados, and instead became the man who had already gone, the world had no choice but to align. Let that sink in. The world had no choice but to align, because the world is not happening to you. The world is being projected by you. That's why you can't keep opening the door. That's why you must walk through this world as if it already happened. Because the truth is, in the only realm that matters, the realm of imagination, it already has. And if you understand that, then you understand the deepest teaching Neville ever learned. Imagination is God. It's not a tool, it's not a plaything. It is the divine creative force flowing through you. When you imagine with conviction, you are not hoping for something. You are creating it. You are declaring it. And all of heaven bends to your inner decree. So the next time you feel fear or lack or doubt, don't collapse. Don't run to social media. Don't phone a friend. Stand up. Walk to a door. Declare your desire aloud as already true. Then slam it shut, not in anger, but in authority. And then walk away. Live as if it's done. Dress as if it's done. Speak as if it's done. And never, ever speak of the doubt again. Why? Because the moment you do, you reopen the door. You weaken the structure. You signal the subconscious that the matter is still open for debate. But the subconscious doesn't work with maybe. It works with I am. I am wealthy. I am healed. I am chosen. I am free. Those aren't affirmations. Those are access codes to the reality already waiting behind the curtain. And the door is the symbol. The door is the line in the sand between who you were and who you are now. You do not cross back. You do not explain your faith. You do not negotiate with delay. You decide and you remain, because that is the truth. Faith is remaining. Remaining loyal to the new version of you even when the 3D world mocks it. Remaining anchored in your assumption, even when logic screams otherwise. Remaining firm in your end no matter what storm passes between here and there. Neville did not become a master of manifestation because he learned how. He became a master because he stopped asking how. And so must you. If you made it this far, you're not ordinary. You've been chosen to remember what they made you forget. That you are not here to suffer through life hoping for blessings. You are here to create, to speak, to assume, to command, and then to close the door. So here is your challenge. Today, yes, today, not tomorrow, not when the stars align. Find a door, any door. Your room, your closet, your front door. Stand in front of it. Speak what you desire as if it is already so, and then close it. Hard, final, done. And then go live. Go live like the person who already has it. Go live like the job is yours. The health is restored. The money is deposited. The relationship is healed. And say nothing else. Speak to no one about the process. Don't water the seed with your breath. Let it bloom in silence. And when it arrives, because it will, return here. Return to this place, this comment section, and write, "Abdullah was right." Let the world see the fruit of your decision. Let your story activate someone else's courage, because your miracle isn't just for you. It's for the countless souls watching, waiting, wondering. If this works, be their proof, be your proof, and above all, be the one who closed the door and never opened it again.